Level 1. Tourist. Leicester City won the Premier League in 2016 at 5,000 to 1 odds, a result that cost bookmakers millions in payouts. The following season, they entered the Champions League for the first and only time. They topped their group unbeaten, knocked out Sevilla in the round of 16 and reached the quarter-finals before Atletico Madrid ended the run. Their estimated squad value was a fraction of the clubs they were beating. Then they were gone. No return, no sequel. 9 years later, they're in the Championship, with a points deduction for breaching financial regulations, flirting with relegation to League One. One season in the Champions League, a quarter-final, and the competition never saw them again. Sheriff Tiraspol showed up in 2021-22, a club from Transnistria, a breakaway region most people can't find on a map, playing in a stadium that holds just under 13,000. Their goalkeeper, Georgos Athanasiadis, made 10 saves at the Bernabeu. 10. Real Madrid had 75% possession, 31 shots, 13 corners. Then, in the 89th minute, Sebastian Till, a midfielder from Luxembourg, hit a half volley from outside the box into the top corner. Sheriff 2, Real Madrid 1. They finished third in the group. Nobody cared about the standings. That result will live forever. Young Boys beat Manchester United 2-1 in Bern in the same campaign. Same story. One electric night, then back to normality. You qualify, you get the anthem. Maybe you produce one moment that goes down in history, but the competition always moves on without you. Level 2. The punching bag. Sevilla have won the Europa League 7 times. No club in history has won it more. They've beaten Liverpool in a final. They've beaten Inter Milan in a final. In the Champions League, they are a different club entirely. 3 of their last 4 campaigns ended at the group stage. In 2023-24, 0 wins, 2 draws, 4 defeats, bottom of the group. The one time they broke through, 2017-18, they beat Manchester United in the round of 16 and reached the quarter-finals. Then they drew Bayern Munich and it was over. 1 knockout round in a decade. 7 Europa League titles in 17 years. In 2025-26, they're not even in European competition at all. Club Bruges. They keep qualifying 4 of the last 6 seasons. They keep drawing Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, and they keep getting outclassed when it matters. In 2025-26, the new league phase format gave them more games, more chances, more runway. They beat Monaco, Kairat Almaty, Marseille, and lost to every serious opponent they faced. 4-0 to Bayern, 3-0 to Arsenal, 3-0 to Sporting. They scraped into the playoff round in 19th place, drew Atletico Madrid, and produced 2 of the wildest ties of the round. A 3-3 first leg in Bruges, then a 4-1 defeat at the Metropolitano. Alexander Sorloth scored a hat-trick. 7 goals conceded across 2 legs. The scoreline changes every year. The outcome doesn't. Level 3. The gatekeeper. Arsenal have never won the Champions League. That surprises people, and the fact that it surprises people tells you everything about how Arsenal are perceived versus what they've actually achieved. One final, 2006 in Paris, 10 men after Jens Lehmann's red card, a goal up through Sol Campbell until the 76th minute, then Eto'o and Belletti in 14 minutes. One final in their entire history. Then came the Bayern Munich years. Eliminated in the round of 16 in 2005, again in 2013, again in 2014. Then a 10-2 aggregate humiliation in 2017 that closed the Wenger era in Europe. 7 consecutive last 16 exits between 2011 and 2017. For a club with Arsenal's commercial valuation and global brand equity, that sequence was a staggering underperformance. Under Arteta, the trajectory has shifted. Bayern knocked them out again in the 2024 quarter-finals. But in 2025, they dismantled Real Madrid 5-1 over 2 legs before PSG ended the run in the semis. In 2026, they topped the league phase with a perfect record. 8 wins from 8. The conversation is already about whether this is finally the year. It's always about whether this is finally the year. Lyon are the other textbook gatekeeper. 7 consecutive League One titles from 2002 to 2008. Quarter-finalists 3 times during that run. Semi-finalists in 2010. They had the domestic dominance, the financial resources, the player development pipeline. Juninho, Essien, Benzema all came through Lyon's system. The Champions League window closed without a trophy, and once the stars left for bigger leagues, the decline was total. In 2025, Lyon were relegated to League Two for financial mismanagement. €500 million in debt under American ownership. They survived only on appeal, after the owner was forced out and a new president convinced regulators to let them stay. Gatekeepers are dangerous enough to scare a top seed on any given night. What they can't do is sustain a deep run when the opposition's squad depth, tactical flexibility, and institutional experience all compound against them. Where does Arsenal sit for you? Gatekeepers forever, or building something that finally breaks through? Let us know in the comments.
Level 4. The Dark Horse. Porto in 2004. Jose Mourinho's first masterpiece. A squad assembled for a fraction of what their opponents spent. Deco, Carvalho, Costinha, a young Paulo Ferreira, playing disciplined, ruthless football that nobody in Europe was prepared for. Costinha's injury-time goal at Old Trafford to knock out Manchester United. Then Lyon. Then Deportivo. Then a 3-0 demolition of Monaco in the final. Mourinho left for Chelsea within days. Deco went to Barcelona. Carvalho followed Mourinho to London. One glorious year. Then the squad was stripped for parts. The entire project dismantled in a single transfer window. Monaco have made a habit of this. Reached the 2004 final under Deschamps with a squad built on emerging talent, including a young Patrice Evra. Then overperformed again in 2017. Mbappe, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Lemar. Breathtaking attacking football before Juventus ended their run in the semi-finals. Both times, the players were sold immediately. Monaco's model is develop talent, make a run, cash in, start over. The return on investment is extraordinary. The trophy cabinet stays empty. And then there's the one happening right now. Bodo Glimt are from northern Norway, population around 55,000. Their stadium holds just under 9,000. The Arctic Circle runs through their training ground. They qualified for the Champions League phase for the first time this season, the northernmost club ever to compete at this stage. And what they have done since deserves level 4. It started badly. 5 match days, 0 wins. 2 draws, 3 losses. They looked like tourists about to be sent home. Then match day 6. A 2-2 draw at Dortmund's Signal Iduna Park. 81,000 people watching Jens Petter Hauge equalize with 15 minutes left. A result that meant nothing on paper and everything for the squad's belief. Part of the reason is Bjorn Mansverk. He's Bodo Glimt's mental performance coach, a former Royal Norwegian Air Force fighter pilot who flew F-16s before moving into sports psychology. He joined the club in 2017, the year they were relegated. What he found was a squad prone to collective mental collapse under pressure. He introduced structured psychological preparation, meditation before training, open feedback sessions, a practice called The Ring, where players huddle after every goal conceded to share accountability in real time. Midfielder Ulrik Saltnes was close to quitting football entirely before working with Mansverk. The club's intensity levels,
their ability to sustain focus across 90 minutes against technically superior opponents. The players attribute that directly to the mental performance program. Then, match day 7. Manchester City came to Bodo. Kasper Höhr scored twice. Hauge curled one into the top corner. Final score, 3-1. One of the biggest upsets the Champions League has ever produced, in a stadium of under 9,000, north of the Arctic Circle. Next game, they beat Atletico Madrid in Madrid. Then they drew Inter Milan in the playoffs, 3-time European champions. Won the first leg 3-1 at home. Won the second leg 2-1 at the San Siro. Hauge, who'd played for AC Milan at that same stadium 4 years earlier, scoring at the Giuseppe Meazza to knock out the hosts. 5-2 on aggregate against Inter. 4 consecutive wins. Manchester City, Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan twice. All top 3 clubs from Europe's strongest domestic leagues. And all of it during the Norwegian off-season. Bodo Glimt hadn't played a competitive domestic match in months. They face Sporting Lisbon in the round of 16. A potential quarter-final against Arsenal or Bayer Leverkusen. A fishing town in the Arctic making a genuine run at the last 8 in Europe. This is exactly what the Champions League was designed to produce.
Level 5. The Contender. Dark horses surprise people. Contenders disappoint them. Paris Saint-Germain spent over a decade proving that point. Neymar, Mbappe, and later Messi. Annual wage bills that dwarfed the revenue of entire leagues. Every season, the pattern repeated. Dominate League One. Enter the knockouts with overwhelming firepower, then self-destruct. The remontada in Barcelona. 4-0 up on aggregate. Lost 6-1 at Camp Nou. Benzema's hat-trick in 17 minutes in 2022. Turning a 2-goal aggregate lead into elimination. Capital investment on a scale that should have guaranteed a trophy. And it kept failing. Until they lost Mbappe, rebuilt under Luis Enrique, and won it in 2025. 5-0 against Inter Milan. The largest winning margin in Champions League final history. Delivered by a team nobody expected to peak that year. How do you lose 7 Champions League finals? Ask Juventus. 9 finals, 2 wins, 1985 and 1996. Everyone since has ended in defeat. 3 consecutive finals from 1996 to 1998. Beat Ajax on penalties. Lost to Borussia Dortmund. Lost to Real Madrid. A goalless final against AC Milan in 2003, where Dida saved 3 penalties in the shootout. Then beaten by Barcelona in 2015. Demolished 4-1 by Real Madrid in Cardiff in 2017. The most final defeats of any club in the competition's history. Buffon spent his entire career chasing 1 Champions League medal. He never got it. Atletico Madrid, 92 minutes and 48 seconds. That is the timestamp when Sergio Ramos headed Modric's corner past Courtois in the 2014 final. Under Diego Simeone, they were seconds from being champions of Europe. Then extra time. Then a 4-1 collapse. They reached the final again in 2016. Same opponent, lost on penalties. 2 finals against your city rivals. 2 losses. 3 finals in the club's history. 0 wins. If John Terry had not slipped on the wet turf in Moscow, Chelsea would have won their first Champions League trophy in 2008. Instead, his penalty hit the post. Manchester United won the shootout, and Chelsea had to wait 4 more years. When the title finally came in 2012, it arrived in the most improbable way possible. 6th in the league, manager sacked mid-season. Drogba's stoppage time header forcing extra time. Then penalties against Bayern Munich in their own stadium. The second came under Tuchel in 2021. 2 titles, both delivered by short tactical explosions rather than sustained dominance. Since the ownership change in 2022, the club has spent over £1 billion on transfers and is still searching for consistency.
Borussia Dortmund won the trophy in 1997. Lars Ricken lobbed the goalkeeper with his first touch off the bench in a 3-1 final win over Juventus. Klopp's side reached the final again in 2013 and lost to Bayern. They were back in 2024 and lost to Real Madrid. 3 finals across 3 decades, 1 title. The financial gap between Dortmund and the clubs above them means every deep run requires a perfect generation, and perfect generations get sold.
Level 6. The Fallen Giant. There is a specific kind of pain reserved for clubs that have won this competition and can no longer quite live up to that standard in one way or another. Manchester United, 3 titles, 5 finals. The 1999 stoppage time comeback against Bayern Munich. The 2008 shootout win over Chelsea. Under Ferguson, a permanent fixture in the competition's final stages. Since he retired in 2013, not a single Champions League semi-final. Their last campaign in the competition, 2023-24, ended at the group stage, bottom of the table. 4 points, eliminated before Christmas. This season, no European football at all for the first time since 2014-2015. 7 managers since Ferguson left. Debt, ownership dysfunction. A club with the commercial infrastructure to compete at level 7 that currently struggles to qualify for level 1. Do you think United will make it back? Or is this what they are now? Drop your prediction in the comments. Inter Milan. 2 finals in the last 3 years, and they lost them both. 1-0 to Manchester City in 2023. Tight, competitive, 1 goal the difference. Then 5-0 to PSG in 2025, the heaviest defeat in Champions League final history. This is a club with 3 European titles. Mourinho's 2010 treble, League, Cup, and Champions League in a single season is arguably the greatest campaign any Italian club has produced. But that was 15 years ago. The current cycle is close, but not close enough. The talent and tactical structure to reach the final, but not to win it. Ajax invented the modern game. Cruyff's total football. 3 consecutive European Cups from 1971 to 1973, title in 1995. But the Eredivisi's financial limitations mean every great generation gets dismantled. The 2019 squad that beat Real Madrid and Juventus was sold within months. 4 titles, 6 finals, and the most influential club in European football history that can no longer sustain a presence in the competition they helped shape. In 1962, Bela Gutmann won Benfica their 2nd consecutive European Cup, asked the board for a pay rise, was refused, and reportedly cursed the club on his way out. Not in 100 years would Benfica win in Europe again. Since then, they have reached 8 European finals and lost all 8. Eusebio visited Gutmann's grave before the 1990 final to pray for forgiveness. Benfica lost 1-0.
Level 7. The Dynasty. Liverpool. 3-0 down at half-time in Istanbul. The 2005 Champions League final. AC Milan had been the best team in Europe for most of that season, and for the opening 45 minutes, they proved it. Maldini scored inside the first minute. Crespo added 2 more. It was supposed to be a coronation. Then Steven Gerrard pulled one back. Then Vladimir Schmitzer. Then Xabi Alonso. 3 goals in 6 minutes. Penalties, 1. It remains the most dramatic single half of football in the competition's history, and it gave Liverpool their 5th European Cup. They added a 6th under Klopp in 2019. Paisley had already won 3 between 1977 and 1981. 6 titles across 5 decades. This season, they are in the round of 16 and remain a realistic contender. Liverpool do not just enter this competition, they define its most iconic moments. Speaking of AC Milan, 7 titles make AC Milan the second most decorated club in the competition's history. Sacchi's side in the late 1980s, Van Basten, Gullit, Rijkaard, is still regarded as one of the most complete teams ever assembled. Ancelotti's Milan won it in 2003 and again in 2007, the second time beating Liverpool in a rematch of Istanbul. Maldini played in 8 finals across 3 decades. Pirlo, Kaká, Shevchenko, Inzaghi. The list of names that have worn the shirt in this competition is extraordinary. No final since 2007, but 7 titles and a tradition of tactical innovation that influenced the entire sport places Milan permanently at this level. Bayern Munich reload where other clubs rebuild. 6 titles, 3 consecutive wins under Beckenbauer in the mid-1970s. Heynckes won it in 2013, Flick won it in 2020, the season Bayern beat Barcelona 8-2 in the quarter-finals. The institutional discipline, the recruitment model, the expectation of competing for this trophy every single season. Bayern in the Champions League is not an event, it is a permanent state. The 2008 to 2009 Barcelona squad, Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, is widely considered the greatest club side in football history. That team didn't just win the Champions League, it redefined how the sport was played at every level, from youth academies to international football. Cruyff built the philosophy, Guardiola perfected it. 5 titles in total, 1992, 2006, 2009, 2011, 2015. Barcelona's influence on football extends beyond trophies. They changed the tactical language of the game itself. Level 8, the throne. Yes, we needed an entirely new level for this video. Anything else would have been dishonest. There is only one club at this level. There has only ever been one. Real Madrid. 15 Champions League titles. The first 5 were consecutive, 1956 to 1960, when the competition was still being invented and Real Madrid decided they would own it. Di Stefano, Puskás. They scored 7 in the 1960 final. Zidane delivered 3 consecutive titles from 2016 to 2018, something no one had achieved since the competition was reformatted in 1992. Then came 2022, the Benzema season. Down on aggregate in every knockout round. A hat-trick against PSG, Rodrigo scoring twice in stoppage time against Manchester City when they were 90 seconds from elimination. Then Benzema in extra time. Then the final. Then the trophy. Their 14th. Then 2024. Their 15th. No other club has more than 7. Real Madrid have 15. The gap between them and every other institution in this competition's history is beyond comparison. If you made it this far, you already know more about this competition than most. Subscribe if you want more like this. Where did we get it wrong? Which club is too high? Which one deserves better? Let us know in the comments.